We begin today's show in Vermont, where Columbia University student and Palestinian activist Mohsen Mahdawi was released after more than 2 weeks in U.S. immigration custody. Mahdawi is a green card holder from Palestine who was born and raised in a refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. He was arrested on April 14th when he appeared for what he was told would be a citizenship interview. Mahdawi had participated in the Palestinian solidarity protests at Columbia last year. He was also president of the Columbia University Buddhist Association. He was freed on bail on Wednesday by U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Crawford, who criticized the Trump administration's handling of the case. In his ruling, Crawford wrote that Mahdawi had made, quote, substantial claims that his detention is the result of a retaliation for protected speech that he engaged in as a college student on the Columbia campus. Crawford went on to write, quote, the court also considers the extraordinary setting of this case and others like it. Legal residents not charged with crimes or misconduct are being arrested and threatened with deportation for stating their views on the political issues of the day. Our nation has seen times like this before, especially during the Red Scare and Palmer raids of 1919-1920 that led to the deportation of hundreds of people suspected of anarchist or communist views, Crawford wrote.
After Mohsen Mahdawi left the federal courthouse in Burlington, Vermont, he addressed supporters.
And we send a clear message as well, that if we have faith in our beliefs, unshakable beliefs, which is the belief that justice is inevitable. Yes. We will not fear anyone because our fight is a fight for love, is a fight for democracy, is a fight for humanity. Amen. And I am saying it clear and loud. Yes. To President Trump and his cabinet. Yes. I am not afraid of you. Yes! Never give up on the idea that justice will prevail and that we have to come together to bring our voices and our hearts and raise them, not only for America, not only for this system of democracy that has checks and balances, and this court is part of it, but also for our humanity. We have to restore and reform the international order and abide by international law as a first step towards justice. We must stand up for humanity because the rest of the world, not only Palestine, is watching us. And what is going to happen in America is going to affect the rest of the world. That's right. Yeah. I will end up by saying to my people in Palestine, I feel your pain. I see you suffering, and I see the freedom. And it is very, very soon. Yeah. Free, free Palestine.
Columbia University student and Palestinian activist Mohsen Mahdawi, speaking in Burlington, Vermont Wednesday after he was freed after over 2 weeks in an immigration jail. We're joined now by a member of his legal team, Shezza Abboushi Dallal. She's a staff attorney with the CLEAR Project at CUNY School of Law. Shezza, thank you so much for being with us. I know you've just returned from Vermont, where you were with Mohsen. Can you talk about the significance of what the judge ruled, and what are the conditions of Mohsen's release?
Thank you for having me, Amy. I can't overstate the significance of this ruling and the fact that Mohsen walked free yesterday and wakes up today in his home in Vermont, not in an ICE detention facility being punished for speaking out for Palestinian lives and freedom and against the genocide in Gaza. The judge yesterday ordered him released on bail. And this is, release on his own recognizance. So he will be able to return to his home in Vermont, continue his studies at Columbia University, complete his undergraduate degree and continue on to a master's program in the fall, and continue his advocacy for Palestinian life and dignity and freedom. And that's of paramount importance to him. And it was of paramount importance to the judge, too. The judge acknowledged that, this is on a backdrop of a chapter of U.S. history that is repressive and evocative of moments before, where the government attempts to wield, the immigration system, detention, to punish people for their First Amendment protected speech, for their political advocacy. And the judge situated his decision on that backdrop, in that context.
So, Shezza, as you said, he can come back to New York. He can return to his studies at Columbia, begin his master's degree next year. Are there any other restrictions on his movement? In other words, he can come from Vermont to New York, but can he go anywhere else? And what is the remaining immigration case against him?
So he's released pending the culmination of his federal litigation, so his habeas litigation in federal court in Vermont. And so the conditions reflect that. His court case is in Vermont, so he needs to stay around, close to the court's jurisdiction, in order to see that process through. And that's what that's going to look like.
And the Trump administration initially did want to move him as well, Mohsen, to the same Louisiana immigration jail that Mahmoud Khalil, two other students, Rumeysa Ozturk, are held in. How come he was not sent to Louisiana but to Vermont instead?
That's exactly right. The administration was playing the same card and attempting to do the same exact thing that they did with Mahmoud Khalil, Rumeysa Ozturk, Badr Khan Suri. They took him, abducted him at his naturalization interview in the final moments after he had signed saying that he would take an oath to the Constitution. Masked men entered the room and abducted him, and then they attempted to swiftly take him to the airport in order to commence a route towards Louisiana. And the only thing that stopped him is Mohsen's legal team's intervention. They filed the habeas petition before they had the opportunity to put him on a flight. And in fact, they took him all the way to the airport and missed a flight out from Burlington, Vermont at the very last moment. So we had the benefit of having learned what the Trump administration's playbook is on all of these cases, to whisk people, abduct them, take them away from their communities into fora that are favorable for the government, and then present a series of delay tactics in their federal court proceedings on the basis of the fact that they are now in another state like Louisiana. And so ultimately, Mohsen was able to remain in his home state of Vermont, surrounded by his community, and anybody who's seen footage or had the fortune of being at court or in front of court yesterday in the District of Vermont was able to see the power of that community and how people showed up in outrage at what is happening to Mohsen, and all the other people like Mahmoud and Rumeysa and Badr Khan Suri, who do not have the benefit of being in their home state and are still waiting to have their motions for release heard by the respective federal courts that they are in.
And so in the case of Rumeysa, the Fulbright scholar from Tufts, the international graduate student, a federal judge has ruled her case must be heard in Vermont, but she is still in Louisiana being held there because she was moved there. Shezza, so Mohsen gets to come to New York for graduation at Columbia University?
Yes, he does.
I want to thank you very much for being with us. Shezza Abboushi Dallal, staff attorney with the CLEAR Project, a CUNY School of Law, and a member of Mohsen Mahdawi's legal defense team. She's just back from Vermont here in New York, as she was with him yesterday as he was released.